Hi friends, welcome back. In today's session we are going to perform CRUD operations with Web API. I am going to create one new project here. Here I am selecting ASP.NET Core Web API. This is my project name, which I am storing in this location. I am selecting the latest .NET framework here. Click on create. Our project has been created here. Here in this session we are going to use entity framework DB first approach. For that I am adding NuGet packages. Here database we are going to use SQL Server. I am selecting the SQL Server and I am installing latest stable version. It's installed. This is the database which we are going to use it in this session, and I have one table called products here. So we have the columns like ID, product name, price and quantity. ID is the primary key and it is identity field which is auto incremented. Here we no need to insert any value into the ID field. So remaining other fields we have to insert here. So all three fields are not null, so we need to pass the data here. First I am going to create one model here. I'll create one models folder. Inside that I am going to create product class. This is my product class. Here I am going to define our properties. So here we need ID, product name, price and quantities, and we have to match the data types also. These fields are mandatory fields. I'll create another folder for data access. I'll make it as data access layer. Inside this I'm going to create app.db context to communicate with our database. I'll make it as this is my context name, and this will be inherited from db context. Click on db context, go to the quick actions, generate the constructor with options. Here I have to add product table property to communicate with db. This is going to be db set, and I have to call product here, and here we have to add the models. So this is coming from models folder, and this I will make it as products. So this is the products table which we have inside the CRUD with Web API database. So we are going to communicate with this database. For that we are going to use the db context. With this we are going to communicate to our server. To communicate with our SQL Server we have to add the connection string inside app settings.json. Here I am going to add the connection string. this is the connection string, this is connection string name, and this is my server name, and I have multiple SQL instances. That's why I mentioned my SQL instance name. If you are using single instance, then you don't need to mention this instance name here. So here we have to pass our database name. I can copy it from my SQL Server. Now we have to register this connection string inside our program.cs. For that, I will open the program.cs. Here I am going to register my connection string. For that, I will take it from my previous example. Here we have to register our connection string with database context. This is my database context name, and I have to pass it here, and I have to add the reference here. This is coming from data access layer, and my connection string name I can take it from here. This is my connection string which we are passing here. So we are going to use this SQL Server here to communicate with the database. This my app DB context is the mediator between our application and the database. Here I am going to add one API controller. For that, right click on the controllers, add controller. Here I need API. Here we have to check API. Here we have to select the API. By default, MVC controller will be selected. Here we have to select API, and then we have to select API controller empty. Click on add. Here we have to provide our controller name. This is product controller. I will add it here. To connect with the database, we have to initialize our app DB context here. Select the context, go to the quick actions, generate constructor here. Now we can communicate with our product table. First, I will create a get action method to read all products. This is going to be get. Here first I have to read all the products from the database. So it will return the list of products. So before returning the products, we have to check whether we have any products inside this variable. For that, I will write a if condition. If count is 0, then I have to return data not found. And here we can return custom message also, products not available. So this is the custom message I am going to return. And if we have the data inside the products, then we will return OK. And here we have to pass products. So this is the action method to read all the products from the products table. I'll write another action method to get the data based on the ID which is passed by the user. Here I will pass the product ID to read the data. Here I have to check products are available with the ID which is given by the user. For that, I'll check context.products find with the ID if product is null. Here we will get whether null or we will be having the content. Again I will return the not found here, and this time I will pass the custom message like product details not found with ID. Here we can pass the ID which is given by the user. If it is data is available with the ID given by the user, then we have to return OK, and then we have to pass this product, and this is also going to be get action method. And here we can check if there is any unhandled exception. We can handle that also. Go to the snippet, surround with try catch. I can return as bad request. Here we can pass exception message. Same way here also we will check is there any errors. So I'm going to copy the same catch block. So this action method is going to return all the products from the products table, and this we have to pass input parameter as product ID. Based on the product ID we can filter the data. If product is null, then we are going to return this custom message, otherwise we are going to return the product. Here we will create one action method for post, that is create. Here we will pass our product model to insert the data. This is going to be model, and this will be post action method. Here I am going to straight away add the model to context. Save changes, and finally I'll return OK. Here we can pass the custom message product created. This is the message which I am going to return, and here also I have to check is there any exceptions. For that I'll keep it inside the try catch. I'll copy this catch block. Here I am going to create one action method for put, that is update. Here again we are going to pass the product model to update the data. Here before updating the data we have to validate the model, like if model equal to null or ID is 0, then I am going to validate data. Again I'll check if any one condition is satisfied, then it comes inside this block, and then I'll check if model is null. I'm going to return bad request here. Here we can pass the custom message. Invalid. Else if ID is 0, then again I'm going to return this. So I'll pass this message to the user. If both these conditions are not satisfied, then it comes here. Then here I am going to validate product context dot so ID is greater than 0. Then I'm going to check, is there any product available with the ID which is passed by the user. If it is null, again I have to return this message here. This time it will be not found, and product not found with ID. Here we can pass model.id. Else we have to save the data. For that I'll attach data to product name, which is coming from model. Likewise we have to check the price. It is model.price. Finally we have to save the changes. Return. Okay, that is success message. So this is the custom message which we are going to return. So this block I can keep it inside the try catch. We can take this exception message here. I can use it here. Finally we have to create one more action method for delete. Where product, I'll check the product is available or not first. Find. So here we have to pass ID which is given by the user. If product is null, then I have to return the not found. So this is the custom message which we are going to return. If product is not null, then we are going to delete the record. Remove. I have to pass the product here, and I have to save the changes. Finally return the message as OK. This is the status which we are going to pass it to the user. This time I will make it as deleted. So we'll keep this inside try catch block. So if there is any exception, we are going to display that exception message here. We'll build the application once. So there is no error, build succeeded. To test our web API, we are going to use this Swagger which is available inside the .NET Core application. Run the application. Here we are facing one error related to Swagger. We'll see how to fix this error first. Here we have one action method called get to read all the products from the database, and also we have another action method with the same name get, and here we are passing the ID. So there is a conflict between these two action methods, so we have to fix this. To fix this, here we have to pass the ID. I'll make it as ID. It's a simple solution to fix the Swagger issue. Now run the application. So now we are not receiving that error. This is the simplest way to fix the issue. So we will try to get the data whether it's working fine or not. Click on try it out. We will execute here. Currently we don't have any records inside the products table. So we are getting response like products not available. We'll try to create one product now. Go to the post, click on try it out. Here we have to pass all the parameters. ID is not required since ID is identity field, we no need to pass that. Here I will pass. So mobile is my product name. Here I am going to pass quantity. Click on execute. So I am getting status code 200 and product created. Again we will go back, execute this get action method. Click on execute. Here there is a conflict between data type. Execute. Record is inserted here. We'll check this. Data type is float, and here we have to check again our data type is float. So I will make it as double and we'll see. We'll run it again. Here we are able to read the data from the DB. So now we will try to update the product. Go to the put and try it out. Here I have to pass product ID also. Product ID is 1 in our case. We'll make it as 1 and pass from mobile. I am changing it to laptop. I'll execute here. Product details updated and we got the status code 200. We will check the database here. So currently we have mobile. Now we modified as laptop. So it's updated perfectly. We will try to get the data based on the ID. Go to the try it out. Here we have to pass ID. Product ID is 1. Click on execute. So we are able to read the data here. Here instead of giving 1, I am giving some product ID which is not available inside the DB. Click on execute. We will receive the message like product details not found with ID 789. So this validation also working fine. And now I'll try to delete the product. Go to the delete. Here we have to pass the product ID. I'm passing as 1. Execute. Product details deleted. If you check from get action method, currently we don't have any products. We can check inside the DB also. So there is no data. We will try to add few products here. ID is not required while creating new product. Execute. product created. I'll reset it and I'll create one more. Execute. Product created. We will try to read all the data. Execute here. So we are able to read all the products here. Previous session we have created one web API to perform the CRUD operations. This is the final output of that session. In today's session we are going to consume this API inside our ASP.NET Core MVC application. In this API we have not displayed the action methods. We have displayed API/controller name. Here we have to add the action name also, so that easily we can identify the action method. For that I am going to open the controller inside our API project. Go to the product controller. Here along with the controller name I am going to display the action also. I'll save it. I'm running the application again. Now our API is showing action names also along with the controller name. We will check it out. Here we have two records, it's displayed. Now we are going to create a new project with the ASP.NET Core MVC, and we are going to consume this API inside that MVC application. This is my solution. I'm going to right click on the solution. I'm going to create a new project here. I'm going to use ASP.NET Core Web Application with Model View Controller. This is my project name. I'm going to store in this location. I'm going to use the latest .NET framework. I'm going to create a project now. Our project has been created here. Here I am going to create one view model inside this models folder. Right click on the models. I am going to create a product class here. Here I have created product view model class. I am going to copy the properties from our API. These are all the properties we required. If you want, you can access this product class by referencing this project to our MVC project. Here I am going to make a separate class as product view model. I am going to use these properties. Here I am going to add display name. Here I am going to add. Here I will make it as product. I'll add the space between product and name. Here we have to import the namespace. This is component model. Now we have to create a controller to access the API. Right click on the controllers. Add the controller. Here I am going to create one empty controller. I'll name it as product controller. Here we have to initialize our API URL. For that I am going to add URI and I will make it as base address. Here we have to pass our API URL along with the port number. This URI we can get it from our API project. Go to the properties, expand the launch settings.json. Here we are going to use the HTTPS. I'm going to copy this. Along with this we have to pass the port number, which is SSL port number. I'm copying it here. I'll pass it here. Then /API. This is the base URL of our API application. If your API is hosted in somewhere in the server, then you have to pass that server API address here. In our case, we have not hosted this API. We are going to run from our solution. So that's why I'm passing as localhost, and the SSL port number I'm passing here to access this API. First, we have to fetch the data from our API. Here we need HTTP client. I'll create a constructor here. I'll initialize the HTTP client. Here I'm going to assign the base address to our HTTP client. Here we are going to display the list of products. This will be get method. Here I am going to define list, and also I will pass the product view model here, product list. Here we will get the data as HTTP response. It will come as message. I will make it as response. Here we have to pass the base address, and also we have to pass the controller name. Product is our controller, and also we have to pass the action method. This is our API controller. We have to pass our controller name, also action method. So I am passing. Here already we defined the API, so we no need to pass this API. Here I am going to pass base address along with the controller and action method I am passing. Here we have to check the response status. If it is success, we will get the data in a string format. We will get result here. Now we have to deserialize this string data to JSON format. Here we have to add the required namespace, that is newtonsoft.json. I am going to install it now. Here I am deserializing this string data into list of product view model. Here I have to pass data. Here we will get it as result. After deserializing these products, we have to pass this product list to our view. Here I am going to create a view now. Right click on the index action method, add view. Here I am going to click on razor view, add. Here we will select the template as list. Here we are going to receive list of products, and here we have to pass our model class name. Here I am selecting product view model and click on add. Here we are using this scaffolding to generate our view. We are not going to design manually, so this entity framework will generate view for us. Index view is generated now. Now we have to test this whether data is binding or not. For that we have to run both the applications, API and our MVC application. For that, right click on the solution, properties, To access the API, we need to run the API also. Here, instead of single startup project, we have to set as multiple startup projects. Here, select our MVC application. Also, we need to start the API application. It is already started. Apply the changes. Click on OK. Save it. Suppose your API is hosted in the server, then you don't need to do these settings. If it is running from local machine, then you have to do this. I'll keep debug point here inside our API controller, also from the MVC controller. Now we will run the application in debug mode. Here now two applications are running. This is our API and this is our ASP.NET Core MVC application. Here we are going to access the products list. Here I am going to call product controller from my MVC application. So whenever you are consuming any API, that API should always in the running mode. Then only you can consume the API. I am going to access the product controller. So it's coming into my MVC application index page. From here I am passing my base address to access the product/get method. Now it is hitting into API and it is coming to product controller, and here we are getting product list from the API. Product count is so 2 records available, so it's coming into the else block. It is returning. Here we are going to check the response status. It is true. Here data is coming in JSON format. Here we are deserializing into product view model. Now we will get as list. We will go to the view. Here we are get 2 records from the products table. Now we are going to display inside our view. So it is displaying both the records which is available inside the database. We will go to the database and we'll see how many products available inside the DB. This is my SQL Server. This is the database which I am using for this API. I'll execute this select query. So we have 2 records which is displayed inside the MVC application. Here there is a hyperlink. Whenever user clicks on this hyperlink, that form should come for the data entry, and whenever user submits, it should go to the API and it should insert inside the database. This is the functionality which we are going to implement in today's session. Go to the MVC application, open the controller. This is the controller which we used to consume the API. Here I am going to create one more method, http get, and here I will make it as create this method. I am going to use it for product creation view purpose. Right click on this action method, click on add view. Here I am going to select the razor view. Here I will select the template as create. I am going to select model class here, that is product view model. Click on add. Here also we are going to use the scaffolding mechanism to generate the views. View generated to create a product, and here I am going to create another action method to post the data to the API. For that I will make it as http post, and I am going to create another action method. This is also create. Here we will get the data in the product view model. I'll make it as model. Here I'm going to serialize the data into JSON format. Here we will receive the data as model. Here we are going to serialize into JSON format. I'm going to use the JSON convert here. Serialize object. Here I have to pass model. Here I have to pass the string content. I have to pass data, and I have to define the encoding type here. And here I have to pass application/JSON. We are sending the data in the form of JSON. Here we have to add the required namespace, that is system.text. Here I am going to get the response from the API. Here we are going to post the data. Here again we have to pass base address, as well we have to pass the controller name and action method name. We have to check the action method name here. Open the web API, go to the controller. So this is the action name we used for post the data. We have to pass same thing here. So along with this we have to pass the content. If status code is success, then we are going to return this to index view. I'll use the redirect to action here. I'm going to pass index. Also here we have to check is there any error here. For that I'm going to use the try catch. If there is any unhandled exceptions are there, we can handle easily. Here I'm going to display this. Here we have to make it as result. We will get it as result so that we can avoid this error. Also, once this data is successfully inserted, we have to display the message to user. For that I will use temp data. I will make it key value as success message, and I will add it as product created. This is the message which I am going to display after the product creation. Also, if there is any error, I am going to display that in error message. Here I will display the exception message. These success and error message we are going to display globally. For that I am going to use the shared layout.cs HTML, and before entering the body I am going to display this message. So I used in my previous examples and we explained already how to use this. I am going to copy this content and I am going to reuse there. I will paste it here. We have used the same key value as error message and success message here. Error and success. Run the application now. Both our API and MVC applications are running. Here I am going to access product controller. So our product controller is loading, and this is the index page. I am going to click on create new and we are able to see our form to create the product. Here we no need of ID, so I'm going to remove this ID here. I'll go to the create view. Because ID is identity field, we no need to insert any values this primary key, so this will be incremented automatically. And also I want to add top margin here, margin top 2. I'll run the application once again. I'm going to access product controller again. Click on create new. So now ID has been removed here. I'm going to add one product here. I'll add price and quantity. Click on create. So product is created and it is added to our list of products here. Also we can implement to close this alert automatically. That also we can implement. In previous sessions already we implemented that. Go to the www root. Here I have created one custom JS to close the alert automatically after 5 seconds. This is the simple JavaScript function which we are going to implement it here. I'll go to the root folder JS. Here I'm going to create one custom JavaScript file. I'll create a new item here. It's a JavaScript file. I'll make it as custom. Here I'm going to paste this. I'll copy it again. I'm pasting here. So this is, we are setting timeout for all the alerts like 5 seconds. Whenever there is a alert is showing, after 5 seconds automatically it will be closed. If user wants to close before this 5 seconds, user can close with close button. So now this custom.js we have to add inside our layout.cs HTML, then only it will be implemented globally. I'll drag and drop here. So this script is added to our layout.cs HTML. Run the application. I'm creating new product here. Create it. So our Bootstrap alert is showing here. It should close automatically after 5 seconds. It is working fine. Like this we can use the Bootstrap alert also inside ASP.NET Core MVC application. Whenever user clicks on this edit hyperlink, it will display the edit form and user can update the data. This is our table which we are using to perform the CRUD operations, and I am going to open the consume web API which we used for previous sessions. I am going to open controller. This is the product controller which we consumed our web API. This is the API URL, and here we are passing the base address along with the controller name and action name. For update the data, here I am going to create one action method. This will be get method. Here based on product ID we have to load the data. For that I am going to pass input parameter as ID. Here I am declaring product view model. So we have to pass the ID to fetch the product details. Here I have to pass HTTP client, and it will be get async. Here we have to pass the base address. Here we have to pass the action name also. We'll see the action name inside our web API controller. This is our product controller. So this is the action method name. I'll copy this and here I'm going to pass it. Along with this we have to assign the ID. Here we will get the response from the API. Here we have to check success status code. If it is true, here we are going to deserialize the JSON data. I'll get the data as response.content. Here I will assign the deserialized data. For that I am going to use JSON convert. Here I am going to deserialize our JSON format data to product view model. Here we have to pass data to deserialize. So once it is status code is success, we have to assign this product view model to our view. Here I am going to create a view for edit the data. Right click on the action method, add view. If you are not aware of how to consume web API inside MVC application, please watch my previous videos. We have explained the process in previous sessions. So I am going to share the video links in the description. Here I am going to select razor view to create edit form, add. Here I am selecting template, edit. Here we have to select model class, that is product view model. Click on add. So here we are using this scaffolding for view creation. We are not going to design manually, so that we can save time. So view has been created here. Instead of this product view model, I want to display this title here. I'll make it as edit product. Now we are able to read the data based on the product ID, and we are going to display inside this edit view form. So now once it is updated, we have to post the data to API again for the updation. For that I am going to create one more action method here, which is going to be HTTP post. Here we will receive the data in product view model. Now here this model we have to serialize into JSON format for the updation. Here we have to pass the model for serialization. Here we are receiving data in product view model. This data we are serializing into JSON format. Here we have to pass the data along with the encoding type, it is going to be UTF-8, and here we have to pass the type of data. Here it is going to be JSON. Here we will get the response from API. Here it is going to be put. So in our case we are updating the data. Here we have to pass base address to the HTTP client, and then here we have to pass the controller name, and also we have to pass the action name. So we will check the action name inside the API for the update. So it is going to be put. So along with this we have to pass the content also. Here we will get the result. Here we have to check what type of response we are getting here. If is status code is true, then I am going to redirect to action method. It is going to redirect to index view. Here one more thing we have to do, we have to keep this block inside try catch block, so that if there is any unhandled exception we can handle easily. Snippet surround with. Also here we have to display the error message. In previous sessions already we have discussed how to pass the error message in temp data. So same thing we are going to use it in this update form also. Here we have to define exception. I'm going to pass exception message here. Here I have to pass the key name for error message. We are going to handle globally inside our shared folder. Same thing I'm going to use it here also. So this is the error message. I'm copying this key value and I'm going to paste it here. Suppose if it is updated successfully, then again I am going to display the success message here, and here I'll pass message as success message. That also we can take it from here. So this is a message which we are going to display to the user. So this content also we have to keep inside try catch. So I'll copy this one, I'll paste it here. Now we have completed both get and post method for update the data. I'm going to index, and whenever user clicks on this hyperlink edit, so we have to pass the primary key value here. We are not going to use details here, we are going to perform only CRUD operations. Here I am going to pass ID, that is product ID. We are going to pass it, this one. I can make it as ID here. For delete also I'll use the same thing. So anyway we are going to implement delete functionality also. That's it. We'll run the application. Now both our API and MVC applications are loaded. I am going to call product controller here. Here we are going to update one product. I'll click on edit. So we are going to update the product which is having ID as 1006. Edit. So here only ID is loading. We are not able to get the data like product name, price and quantity. And I will check the API once by pausing this. So this is the action method. Try it out. I'll execute this. Here data is loading perfectly. Somewhere something is missed. Yes, we missed something here. We'll check the get functionality. This is the base address. Base address is API. Okay, API slash product slash get. Okay, it should be slash ID. Okay, it should be slash ID. That is what we are not getting the data. I'll make it as slash. Now I think we will get the data perfectly. I'll run the application. I'll call the product controller. I'm going to edit now. Yes, now the data is loading perfectly, and I'm going to make it as, instead of TV, I'll make it as something. And the price I'm changing 55,000 and I'll make it as 80. I'll save the data. Product details updated. This is the data we entered. So we have updated the data. Check the DB whether this data is updated inside our products table. So this is our product table. Earlier we had TV and 42,080 is quantity. I'll execute this select query. So it is updated in the DB also. Our user clicks on this delete button. We have to show the confirmation message. Once user is confirmed, we have to delete that record. So this is our MVC application. I am going to controllers. This is product controller which we are using for consuming the API and performing CRUD operations in MVC application. Here I am going to create one new action method for deletion. This is going to be get method. Here also we are going to read the data based on the product ID. I am pausing input parameter as ID. Here I am going to get the data from API. Here we have to pass base address along with the controller name and action method. Here I am passing product is my controller name and my action method name is get, and here I have to pass the product ID to get the data. Here I will get the result from the API. If response.is status code is true, then I am going to return the data. I'll get the data as JSON format. Here I have to deserialize the JSON data into our product view model. Here we have to pass the product view model to deserialize, and along with this we have to pass the JSON data. So finally we are going to return this data to view. I'll keep this inside try catch block. Here if there is any error, we are going to display the message in this error method. Also we need post action method for deletion. Whenever user confirms the deletion, then we have to post the data to API and it will be deleted. For that I am going to create one more action method here. This is going to be post here. I am going to make it as delete confirmed. Here we are going to pass the ID as input parameter. Along with this we have to pass the action name. We are going to use it action name for post and get as delete. So I am passing the action name along with this post action method. Here I am going to delete the data. I am going to call delete async, and here I will pass the base address. Along with this I am going to pass product controller as well as delete action method we have to pass. I will check that action name, go to the API, this is my API controller, and this is the action method for deletion. I will use this. And here we have to pass the product ID also. Here we will get the result from the API. We have to check response dot. This is going to be response message. Here we will get the is status code. If it is true, I am going to redirect to index view. This block also I'll keep it inside try catch. If there is any exception, I'm going to catch it and I'll display in the Bootstrap alert. Suppose if it is status code is true, then I'm going to display the success message like here we showed in the update action method. If it is successfully deleted, I'm going to display the product details deleted. So we have completed both get and post action methods, and we assigned the API base address along with the controller name and action method. I'll run the application now. Now our API and MVC application both are running. If you are not aware how to consume the web API, we have explained in previous sessions. Please, I'm going to call product controller here. So I'm going to click on delete. Here I am getting error, delete was not found. Okay, we have not created any view for deletion. So we have created action methods like get and post. We have not created the view. That is the error we are getting here. I'll go to the delete, right click on the delete action method, which is get add view. Click on add. I'm going to select the template as delete here. I'll select the model class product view model. Click on add. It will generate the view for us. So view has been generated. I'll run the application. I'll access the product controller. Click on delete. Here user has to confirm the deletion. I'm clicking on delete. So it's not deleting. We will check the API whether we have provided the proper URI or not. So this is API/product/delete, whereas inside our product controller we will check how we are passing the data. Here we are passing as delete. This is not required. I'll run the application. I'll click on delete. So data also not loading here. So delete. Somewhere we are doing mistake here. Okay, here we have to add the slash here. There is a typo error in product controller. I am correcting that. And I'll check it here. Here it's correct. I'll run the application. I'll try to delete this record. Click on delete. So product details are displaying here and it's expecting the user confirmation. I'll confirm here by clicking on delete button. So it's not deleting. We will see what is happening here. Delete. Here this is the API URL. Delete async product/delete, and here we are passing the ID. So inside our delete action method in our API controller, we will add the ID parameter also. I'll copy this, and this is our delete action method. I'm going to pass ID also. Now this same parameter we are going to pass here. I corrected in API. Here I'll pass delete slash that ID. Run the application. I'm confirming the deletion here. So product details deleted. So this product has been removed from the list, and we can check in the database also. Earlier we had 2 products. Now I'm going to execute the select query. Execute. That second record has been deleted. We will try to delete this record also. I'll delete this one also. Click on delete. Product details deleted. We don't have any products here. I'll check in the database. So that product is deleted here. So like this we can consume the API in ASP.NET Core MVC application, and we can implement the CRUD operations. So that's it for today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.